Ella, I'm sorry. Sorry I even considered doing this. Ending your days in your family house is so cliche to boot. I can't explain myself either. I just wanted to finish it off, you know? I had to decide on my own terms how I'd go. Lady, I had to break through. You are already in a state of being dead. And not let myself be taken away. I've been weak. I'm sorry. Oh, the irony. I feel so selfish now. Sometimes I wish I could have been like you. But rarely. Ah, crap. Hug me now. Okay, I guess. You get a hug. Thank you so much. I needed that. You always pull through. Obviously not. Because we are also in a state of being dead. Look, this will come as a shock, but I'm ready to leave. I just can't fight it anymore. But it's okay. I know you're with me. Bring me to the Everdor. Well, time to finally send our first passenger through, you know, to the afterlife. Let's do this. Hi, Mr. Red. Hello, Junk Garage. Okay, I took a hydrocodone. When it kicks in, I should be doing better. Hey, no, get away, cat. Hey, King Venom Boy. Hey, Black Vial. Well, yeah, I didn't use it for an hour. Black Vial. We can make paella. Isn't that how you brew tea, Mr. Red? Okay, here we are. I guess I've been waiting for that moment to arrive. Sooner or later. Will you accompany me? Yeah. It's my job, yo. Look, there's something I wanted to give you. I used to hide at my old music box. I don't know why, but it always felt to me like it was the best hiding spot. My old lighter. I haven't thought about this thing for a while. It barely works. Stole it off Father when I was 12. Please use it to remember me. In the good times. In the bad times, we exist together. Intertwined. If there's one thing you learned from me, it should be that. I have to play the role of Charon. Finally, I suppose. Seems like I couldn't escape it, doesn't it? Me being here? No. You know me, I've never been one to dwell in the past, mainly because it always felt overwhelming to me. Like an irrepressible wave of resentment. But even at this very moment, I still wonder. I don't know if I've ever tried to connect. I've been so sure of it. My opinion just never changed. You know what I've always said? People come and go, but don't pay attention to each other. They never really did. That lives are only ever parallel. Adjacent, at best. Well, that's bull. I can see that now, and you're the proof of it. Not just you, but Mum cared as well, in her own way. And others here, even given the circumstances. I still don't know about Father. I should probably forgive him now, for that last shred of strength in me. Would that make me a better person? Would that make a difference? Yeah, maybe. But after all this, I don't think I care. And it doesn't matter, because I have my best friend by my side, and you. You're a wonderful person, Stella. My life would not have been the same without you. The light you showed me was more than a beacon. It was a guide. Only I was too blind to see it. My shades too opaque. Okay, let's go. Can't hold it any longer. Thank you, Stella. Thanks for bringing me here, even if you didn't want to. Thank you for kicking my butt, shaking my ego. Don't forget I loved you as much as I could. Goodbye, my friend. See you there. You know, I don't know, Melkaiser. The hell? Okay. Okay. So we obviously aren't going to the right. Go left. What do you want from me, game? Yeah, this is just my life, apparently. Game over. Time to move on to the next game. Current VOD number, Palapalooza. Okay. Do I need to look this up? So I'm looking at a picture, a map, right? I am standing where there's supposed to be an event. Like, I am there. We finally meet, face to face. For such a long time, I have watched you, Stella. Close, yet far. You've kept your distance, but you knew I was there, hidden in every shadow, skulking in every silence. Since the very beginning, I have been a part of you, even as my existence was but a foreign thought. And as your loved one surrounded you with care and affection, I waited silently. Your joy, your pride, your happiness, moments of laughter, of bliss, of friendship, gone. I know it feels just like yesterday, but the hourglass has turned, and at last you have found me. Go now, for I am not yet fully awoken. Resume your duties. Carry on your graceful dance. We'll meet again. Soon, Spiritfarer. Okay. Sure. I mean, if that was Charon earlier, I'm guessing that who we just talked to is Hades. Oh, why he's a giant owl, I have no idea. Yeah, apparently we're just not allowed to be humans here unless we're, you know, the MC. The PC, excuse me. Hey, we got a Spiritfarer. Well, okay. Cool. At least we can progress now. So what's that going to take? Iron and linen. 3 fabric, 7 iron. 3 fabric, 7 iron. Riveting gameplay right here. You know what this reminds me of? Imagine if they took Among Us and made those little mini games you do, like the entire gameplay loop of that game. Like that was it. You just run around doing those little mini games, and there's no alien, there's no secret, there's no calling a meeting. It's just running around doing the mini games. That's it. That's your life now. The best part is I can't even fire and forget. Like, imagine if I could just set this, you know, smelting and then walk away from it. Nope. Gotta maintain the heat. Excuse me. Although I suppose that's hardly in the game's favor if the best idea I have is to not play the game. Yeah, I'm not what you would call enthralled so far, Yura. Suppose I should jot that down while I'm thinking about it, though. We'll gain the ability to break the ice, shall we? Let's see. What's a good icebreaker? Oh, she's still in the constellation. Now, what do y'all think? What's your best icebreaker? What do you got? Hey, Zach Taft. But then, through the power of magic, we could suddenly go substantially faster. Oof, and we're there, just like that. Oof. You have a beautiful orchard full of apples. You do know what lives and reads inside, don't you? Bookworms. Oh, hey. I can actually get the speed upgrade now. If I get some oak, which I can do. You know, considering this has a co-op mode where the other player plays as the cat, what's the other player doing during these crafting sequences, I wonder? Other than just, you know, nothing. Oh, this tree, it grew so quickly. I'm sure the love you gave it helped it tremendously. Laws of this world would allow it. I'm glad the tree is fully grown. I know you'll be able to build some great memories here. I've been doing some thinking. All my life I've had to take care of others. Cooking, cleaning, taking care of the children. They're a blessing, really, but I've never had time for excitement, adventure. I thought if it's not too much of a hassle, of course. And since we're traveling all over all the time, well, maybe you can go on a little trip with me. Just you and me. It'll be fun, I promise. Let's go to Nordweiler. It's a site of Swedish romance novels. Sure. I'm not sure a Swedish romance novel is something I want to experience, but, you know, whatever. Wow, I still need more oak planks. I need 6 more oak planks. Holy crap. You know, I'm not sure. The fact that the cat's here is really probably one of the most unpleasant things about the game. It's like, what killed the cat? And don't say curiosity. Oh, I don't have the money. God dang it. Whatever, I need to send off 2 people before I can access the rocks. I need more money. I need more money in the afterlife. I need more money in the real life. Ugh. Sell the cat. I don't know, there's not a lot of desire for a cat in this setting. After all, everybody's already an animal of some kind. I guess unless they're hungry. Here's a callous thing to ask. Yep, nope, I cannot get rid of her house. She's gone. Like, she's dead. She's moved on to the afterlife from purgatory. I can't freaking get rid of her house. You'll figure. Hey, Lily Ruth. That's too tall. Which means that's too tall, too. Playing Tetris with my ship here, don't mind me. It's not gonna work. Whatever. I don't think you can actually sink your boat, deliberately or otherwise. Tetris? Well, we'll find out, won't we? 'Cause that'll be part of the nest block. Alright, time for some riveting gameplay. Oh, what? Oh, okay. I guess. Let's just go ahead and increase our speed slightly here. I mean, it's the cash grabbiest of all cash grabs, Triaxia. Well, we got rid of the ice. So who knows, really? Nice place. Oh, Stella, thank you so much for bringing me here. Smell the crisp winter air and those colors. I feel like a young girl again. Oh, let's go already. I can't wait to see the sights. Oh, hey, chicken. Yep, nope, I am kind of piss broke right now. Yeah, art, animation, and music are so far the hallmarks of this game. Who invented winter? Ah, it was my fault. My bad. Is it an ancient wooden elevator cage? What a wonderful construction. I didn't think I'd ever see one with my own eyes. Remember? It's by climbing one of these that Ansgar managed to get away from Harold's gang. A treacherous and icy cage that claimed many a young daredevil's life. Of course, Ansgar managed to escape with the Countess's sapphires with ease and grace. Yes, he was quite the cat burglar. Ah, look at me, I'm swooning just thinking about it. Oh, trust. I think we should just use the ladder. Oh, and this statue with the bushes ever white? Ooh. Just as I pictured it. How uncanny. Doesn't it remind you of the shrine where Angzar offered the sapphires to Agneta? I would have stolen 100 gemstones and fought 1,000 ruffians for the opportunity to gaze upon your beauty but for a second. How romantic. And then she confessed her love and they... Well, you know what happened next. Anyways, in my mind it wasn't so cold outside. Angzar sure was hot-blooded though. I know that's how he makes me feel. No comment. Oh, and this dark, windy spot. It's like the scaffolding where they dueled. I can see the scene so clearly. Clicking of swords, the distant barking of dogs, the whistling of the policemen. Even the smoke reminds me of the train station below. And then glinting in the shadows, a small needle-like knife. And just as Angzar had adeptly disarmed his opponent, the treacherous Agneta emerges and stabs Angzar in the back. Of course, how could Angzar know she was the half-niece of the cruel Herald? The bleeding Angzar advances haphazardly to the edge of the scaffolding. And as he reaches the edge, he glances back, finds he is cornered by his opponents. With nowhere to go, they know it's but a matter of time before they can deliver him to Duke Frederick, his long-estranged twin brother, and usurper of his family title. But Angzar, elegant to his last breath, raises a hand in farewell, smiles softly, and just as he is engulfed by smoke from the locomotive below, ouch. Oh, what? Oh, no, I'm alright, thank you. I'm good. Just a little tired. Let's get back home, okay? Just, let's go. As I said, that just sounds like a game of Crusader Kings to me. My lover betrayed me because she was secretly the cousin of my half-brother who was trying to sell out my titles to some other guy. What? Yeah, I'm tired. Would you mind helping an old lady walk back to the tender? Yeah, sure, I got you. That would be nice, Malkaiser. It's true, Lord Aramont. Oh no, I've been killed. Ah, well. Time to continue successfully. I mean, you don't have to. You could then sabotage that scumbag. Start getting set up for your next, time after they're dead. I get your point. And she hasn't budged in a while, which is getting worrisome. Let me check that. Yeah, both her upgrades are there. Oh yeah, I should mention I might get off early today. I'm already kind of running on empty, and playing a game this tiresome is kind of not helping. Plus, sick. I want to have a word with you. We had some fun together with the trip and all, but I can't keep following you around like that. It's just too tiring. Besides, it's not befitting of an old lady like me. Just, has anybody told you how smothering you can be? Please leave me some space, will you? Okay, sure. That was grilled chicken, not fried chicken. I don't make fried chicken. Oh. Oh, goodbye, glass. Not that we have the money. We have no money. God, we are just piss poor right now. However, tea is worth 100 things per. Hey, Sean. I hope your trip's going well. I'm waiting for someone. Don't bother me. Okay, bye. Beef fondue? Interesting. Oh, I'm doing terribly, Sean, but I have been all week. So we can buy tea seeds there. Ooh, we can make cotton now. And aluminum. Oh wow, her mood went down. Cool. I guess I gave her the wrong food. Why? Alice seems to have some trouble getting around, doesn't she? I don't think she can use ladders anymore. I'm not sure she'd tell you, but I think she's stuck up there. Maybe you can move her house down to the deck level. Okay. Hang on. Which one's Alice? That one. Okay. Oh, that's gonna be a pain. Can we even make that work? Yes, there we go. Jesus. Don't mind me, just playing a bit of Tetris. Oh, hello. Have you seen Eugene? He must be in the garage again. When you see him, can you ask him to bring my old Wooly? It's getting a bit chilly in here. Sure, I can get a piece of fabric. Yeah, freaking dead people, am I right? God. Have you seen Summer today? I think she didn't get up this morning. That's odd. She's usually up at first light. Something's wrong with her house. Maybe Albert can help us. Yeah, sure. But first, I give you some fabric. Out of wool, which I have. Oh, hello. What's that? A blanket from me? I used to have a woolen blanket I liked very much. I must have misplaced it. Oh, thank you. It's very nice of you. You're welcome. I mean, I'm pretty sure I have literally never agreed with Metacritic, Colin Peluso, so take that however you want to. Oh god, where'd the frickin' kitchen end up? GameSpot has reviews? Wow. Who knew? Oh my god, we're not there yet. Yeah, even my reviews are subjective. The worst review of anything I've ever seen? IGN, Mass Effect 3. I've made fun of it several times, because it's just a gem. It's hilariously bad. Past that, I forget if it was Electronic Gaming Monthly or GameSpot, the magazine, specifically. But, back in the day, one of the magazines had this really weird tendency to give excessively positive reviews to every freaking game. Not that Nintendo Power was immune to that kind of influence, it's just usually Nintendo Power didn't have that as frequently as the other one. You know, believe it or not, I've had a few thoughts on that Compaloosa. And while I am quite proud of the review system we have built, honestly, I can at least see a purpose in a standard review system, you know, the what you fig out of 10. The catch is that it honestly needs to be nothing out of 10. It needs to be thumbs up or thumbs down. At most, what it'll probably be is thumbs up on story and thumbs down on gameplay or vice versa, or whatever, right? Instead of whatever the hell Cinnabon out of 10 means. I have reviewed Hades. I don't think we've covered any of the roguelites yet. Rogue Legacy is on the list, as well as Rogue Legacy 2. And, Darkest Dungeon 2. And 20XDX and 30XDX. I believe those are the roguelites. Oh! We've also reviewed Cadence of Hyrule, which was a roguelite, I believe. Yeah, that's the one, Sean. It's also the review that literally copy-pasted text from the press release of Mass Effect 3 in the review of Mass Effect 3. One of those blatant examples of that I've ever seen. I think they later got rid of that, but I remember it quite distinctly. So, which game in the Zelda block am I most looking forward to? That's a tough question. I would say there are 4 games I am most looking forward to covering in the Zelda block. 1, because I'm really curious how it's going to review. 2, ditto. LTTP, ditto. And Twilight Princess, ditto. Oh yeah, I've shown it on camera. So you didn't have to take my word for it. Hilariously bad review. I've also shown their Devil May Cry 2 review on camera. You can't be here. This mine has been abandoned for 40 years. You can't just waltz in here. You have the credentials, but I love the attitude. Alright. Went to school for this job. I suppose if you want to got training, I could deputize you. Go out there train for the job. Double jump, glide, and zip line. Okay. So I need zip line to get in here. Okay. Well, it's a waste of time. I strongly recommend not playing Devil May Cry 2. It's one of the worst games on the list for a reason. Yeah, I think we could safely give this an early game hell negative. Yeah, go watch my review of it, Complo, I cover it in quite a bit of detail. Is there a merit to playing bad games? Well, now that's interesting. I suppose that gets more into philosophy at that point. Because, let me put it to you this way. Have you ever heard someone say that Episode 8, that is to say The Last Jedi, is the worst film ever made? Because I've heard people say that. I've heard people say that the worst game that's ever been made is Mass Effect 3, or Dragon Age 2 for that matter. And you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with playing bad games? Well, I have this feeling that in addition to people's general tendency towards hyperbole, most people probably don't have the breadth of experience to understand what bad actually is. As I myself have said many times, you can keep going down. Now, we've broken out the floor on the bottom for our review system several times, and we may do so again. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I've also heard some people say Mass Effect 2 is the worst game ever made, which... no. But that's my point. I legitimately find a benefit in having played and watched so many bad works of fiction over the years, because it gives me a little bit better of a gradient of what bad and good actually are, so I can see the scale in the middle. Hi, Evo. And yeah, like, there's also different types of bad, especially when it comes to, well, movies and games pretty much equally. Have any of you actually seen Birdemic? Because I have. Some people would list that as one of the worst films ever made. I don't actually agree with that. I think things where they clearly don't have the kind of budget to make something real kind of have a different category, right? Yeah, exactly, Bleachable. Low budget bad is just a different thing compared to just plain bad. My old legs won't carry me anymore. Can you help me get to the prow? Oh, yeah, sure. A game that has a really high budget, that has the backing and support it needed to be itself, that then sucks? Well, that's a little different, isn't it? I took a hydrocodone earlier, Evo. Hasn't kicked in yet. That's another thing. There's also the physical pain bad. Some of you probably know what I'm talking about with that. But for those of you who don't, how many of you have ever had to stop watching a show or a movie or stop playing a game because it was causing you physical pain? We actually had one of those semi-recently with Star Wars Bounty Hunter. But I've had that several times in the past. I can actually name a movie right off the top of my head, a semi-recent one. Bourne. The third Bourne film, I believe it was, specifically. And that film, oh my god. That film was quite literally headache-inducing. There's also Octopath Traveler, a game I kind of spit venom at, specifically because of how much physical pain that game causes me. And I don't mean like hyperbolic. That's you gotta dodge that. You gotta avoid the hyperbolic. No. I mean, something has physically hurts me to play. That's what we're talking about here. Or to watch. Yeah, Virtual Boy. Oh my god, Virtual Boy. Why is what, DeQuack? Why does pain exist? Well, pain is a mechanism by which the body's trying to tell you that something's wrong. Now, the problem is trying to identify the source of that pain in order to then correct it. But pain is actually a very, very necessary component of human survival. If we didn't have pain as a concept, we'd probably be a lot more dead than we are. Oh, why did Octopath do it? There's something called Octoblur, which I call because of Octopath Traveler. It's an extraordinarily badly designed depth of field. So there's this narrow band in the middle of the screen, which is fine, and then it's really blurry on the top and really blurry on the bottom, and it's headache-inducing. And I know that makes me a moron. And, yeah, I don't know what else to add to that. There's actually parts of the game where it's even worse, because there are moments where there's this light reflection on the water, which looks fine until it gets into the blur range, and then it all of a sudden just gets awful. Like, it's actually physically painful to perceive. Yes. Right. 2.5D is fine. Blur is not. You know what's really funny? In the PC version of Octopath Traveler, there's a simple I edit you can do in order to completely remove the blur from the game. Just destroy it. Because for those of you not aware, that kind of blur is a filter put on after the rendering is done. So it's really, really easy to just... Which is why it's so aggravating that's not a frickin' toggle in the game. I will admit, however, that I am, let's call myself leery of 2.5D, because I fear too many people look at Octopath Traveler and say, that's the way to do it! And they use that terrible depth of field. Having said that, Triangle Strategy uses that same graphic style and, surprise, surprise, has a goddamn toggle for it. So you can turn off the blur. I know because it was literally the first thing I checked when I got that game. The demo, more accurately. You have to know in motion blur, film grain, and just depth of field. All of those options need to go away. God damn it. Well, this is a huge waste of time. Nothing I love more than wasting my time. Get in the boat. Motion blur in video games was first invented in order to hide the dropping frame rate that would happen in 3D games, especially early 3D games, when you pan the camera, because it's loading in a bunch of assets and dumping a bunch of assets all at the same time. So there's a bunch of rendering going on. So there'd be a bit of blur there to try and hide that, to make it look better. This was really, really common in the PS2, but had been a thing in the PC era since like mid to late 90s. Now, I personally prefer with all that crap off, but I'm the weirdo there, so that's whatever. I am extraordinarily sick. I have been for several days, DeQuack. Thank you for asking, though. Yeah, the other reason people use blur in video games is because they used blur in films. Why is that still a thing? Dinosaur mentality. Thank you, DeQuack. For those of you who've never heard me talk about it, dinosaur mentality is when you keep doing something because you did something before, sometimes referred to as artifact design. Same concept. Actually, it's funny you say that, Ross. I found an extra bottle of my own just while I was looking through my stuff for an unrelated reason. Now, this is like the last bottle in the house, so I'm trying to be careful in rationing it, but... Yes, Cordoon, it is, absolutely. Depth of field is a tool like any other. I bet most of you have never even noticed when a good film, or a good show uses depth of field. Because essentially, because it's part of the style and artistic usage of the camera, right? Usually either the cinematography director or the camera director is the person in charge of deciding when they use that and how. And they probably know what they're doing with it. Now, I will still admit, from a purely stylistic perspective, I still prefer not to use depth of field even in a non-interactive medium. But the problem is, in video games, it's a lot less natural. And so it ends up looking worse as a direct consequence. Because in a literal physical camera, all you do to adjust that is you adjust the focus forwards or backwards, right? It's a nice, smooth process. Like, seriously, watch it sometimes. You'll see it's like blurry and non-blurry, and then it'll like transition between the two, and then transition back, nice and smoothly, right? But in a video game, it's more like bzz, 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 and it just, because it's just a frickin' filter that's being shoved over a portion of a painted part of the object. And if that isn't painted properly, then we have the Dragon Age 2 problem. Like, you remember that? There was that one cutscene where we kept walking in and out of the depth of field, depth of blur range. But yes, we are legitimately at the point where depth of field in cameras has to actually be kind of done artificially, because we nowadays have camcorders, video cameras that don't need to have that focusing problem anymore. That can just have the whole thing in focus simultaneously. So we keep doing it artificially because that's the style. I'm not saying that's necessarily bad, just that it's not my thing. Yeah, I'll do that. I was talking about this during the Devil May Cry 2 review as well, because I also disagree with the insistence on using such a low frame rate in movies. I get why they do it, and I get all the stuff they do to make it work. But we're at a point now where it actually takes more work to lower the frame rate of a film than to just film it at 60. Great, just fantastic. The Spiritfarer's here. On this god's-forsaken rock, in the middle of the ocean. Came all the way over here, saw the cold, steep surface of the cliffside, broken ladder. Saw all that and thought, yes, how inviting. Surely I am welcomed here. You found me. No use running from it anymore. Let me run the old tape for you. Spiritfarer, whose name I don't know, nor do I care to know. I am the collector, otherwise known as Susan. The gods and all their materialistic arrogance have played a cruel trick on me. You see, I am the collector not by choice, but by duty. Through your ceaseless plunder of this world's very finite wonders, you will no doubt come to stockpile a collection of junk to rival the greatest garbage dumps of history. My duty is to reward this unconscionable behavior with more junk. What irony, is it not? My predecessors used to ask for the accumulated bundles as payment to do knows what with, but the job description says nothing about that, and I have no interest in your filth. So when the time comes, show me what monstrous assortments you have managed to put together. Grab your meaningless reward and leave quickly. And pick up after yourself. Nice lady. Why in the name of everything that's holy and beautiful do you carry this horrible thing around? It's not only offensive to my eyes, it hurts the very essence of my soul. But wait, I recognize this. Oh no, I should have known from the very beginning. It's that man, isn't it, who sent you? That shallow, materialistic, superficial fraud of an intellectual. He sent you, didn't he? What a crooked, treacherous weasel. He's mad about losing his precious little woodprint, isn't he? Well, now he's never going to see it again, I guarantee it. Perhaps he can learn a thing or two about aestheticism. And as for this preposterously silly collection, your reward is... No, this can't be. No, the fates can't be so cruel. Alright, just take it. Take the bloody woodprint. Go back to the blubbering fool. Just take anything you want. Get out of my sight. Okay. Nice lady, really. Nice job. You started collecting a new type of thing. This time it's fish. They smell bad and they're all terribly ugly, but you can't help but try to catch them all, can you? Fortunately for me, you probably won't be able to complete this collection. They are slippery little bastards. Broken, shiny rocks. What a joy. Well, you've got a long day ahead of you. Listen, don't let me keep you. You have 2 jobs now, finding spirits and gems. By the way, who came up with such a ridiculously sounding name as Spiritfarer? It sounds terrible and doesn't roll off the tongue like my name. Susan. Susan the Collector. Oh wow, halfway there, finder of bright rocks. You must really love the way they look. You are amused by such mortal things. Figures. Well, I'm not keeping you. Oh, how wonderful. You've pillaged almost all the precious gems around. How lucky this world is. Oh, great destroyer, show us your ways. Oh, well, you're not even listening. Take this and leave. Interesting. But yeah, Cordoon is correct. The really, really basic and banal reason why the low frame rate thing is standard in movies is because it's been standard for decades. For longer than I've been alive. So, if you switched it, and there have been experiments in doing so, people always say it looks weird, because they're not used to it. That's it. That's the big reason. Yay. And yes, I remember Zote. Oh yeah, there's also the film snobbery involved. The same people who insist that you have to use physical cameras with actual film tape, because digital cameras are just not cinema. Those people are morons. Lester petting the cat. The UI design in this game is actually surprisingly serviceable. it's not great, but it is part of a positive I've already jotted down as a potential. I'm cold and tired. You left me here all night. Did you really forget about me? Still. The air is no so nice. Once my daughter Annie and I had a little outing on the seaside. It was such a nice day. Oh, there's a picture of that day in the envelope he found the other day. Got it right here. Look at her outfit. Always so fashionable. Later that day, she lost her hat to a gust of wind, though. What a shame. Are you ready to walk me back? Yeah, sure, you weirdo. Well, that varies, Magister. If you've seen a Nolan film, he is sufficiently elitist to demand that he use analog cameras. Well, legs won't carry him anymore. Could you help me get to the prow? Okay, sure, whatever. What do you think about the UI design in this game, Evo? Yeah, Nolan gets away with what he does because he happens to have a talented team on his back. Oh, and because his movies sell well. Is there a benefit to using physical over digital? No. Let me walk that sentence back. Functionally, no. The difference between an analog camera and a digital camera is so minute, especially when actually, put into effect and having gone through post-production, all the special effects stuff, that the overwhelming majority of times you will not be able to tell the difference. And I don't mean in that kind of no, I mean, you really cannot tell the difference. It is completely, it is such a minute thing. Hey, Brennan. It's not like the, what do they call it? It's not like the record player argument, which has its own problems with that argument, by the way. It's also not like MP3 versus FLAC. Vinyl, thank you. Because MP3 versus FLAC has tangible, demonstrable variance between the two audio formats. Congrats, Brennan. What were you playing? Oh, good, Evo. Please tell me that you like them. I mean, if you like them. I'm so sorry, Brennan. Everyone, a moment of silence for Brennan. Alright, we're gonna have to take him out back and shoot him. Oh, that hurts. The biggest problem with vinyl is vinyl by itself is not enough to ensure the audio fidelity that is being requested by it. You have to have vinyl, and then you have to have a good record player, And then you have to have a good speaker and or headphone setup. I only bring that up because some people think you can just buy a record and it's like, it's perfect, and it just sounds the same as an MP3 because they're just listening into it in headphones like these. These right here can only handle, I think, 144, something like that. And so even if I had like these headphones hooked up to like the greatest record player in the world with an actual vinyl record, I couldn't tell the difference because the headphones will not put out the quality that is being pushed out. I've actually thought about getting higher quality headphones to hit the levels of, FLAC, for example, but as I've talked about before, they're all uncomfortable in one way or another, either for my ears or for my headache. I guess we'll go there next. Yeah, let's do that. Thanks, Brilliant. And I am glad you enjoy. Oh yeah, this is a completely random moment to talk about this, but I'm probably going to go ahead and prune a lot of the dead fruit from the list soon. Just letting you guys know that. I will, as usual, make a list of everyone's donations and where they've gone and dump them in a big pile and say, hey, want to reallocate this, let me know. But we're at the point now where the dead fruit has been sitting there for about a year. And that's a pretty good indicator that that's dead fruit. Who are you? What am I? Oh, sorry, I was distracted. I'm alright, I'm fine. Just carry on with your day. I have unfortunately heard of an 8-track, yes. Yeah, probably Blue Fusion Bolt. I should write that down. We'll put that under interface. You know what's really bad is this game has a combination of padding and seconds and minutes. So it's probably going to get both negatives, and that sucks. I would say Pirate's Curse, Sean. Give it a choice in the matter. I do have a fondness for pixel art, but that's not why. It's just the pixel art in that game is just really, really good. That's it. That's the reason. It's a shame because I also happen to really like the drawn look of Half Genie Hero. A silly idea. Was that Forza Horizon, Meridian? I don't know anything about that one. Aww. See you around, Devo. Get some rest at some point. So it's about the house, the green and brown one, right? Have some sort of problem with it, don't you? Yeah, I can see it from a mile away. Listen, I know me, my job. Me and the boys, we're real professionals. It's not often we criticize another worker's craftsmanship. But that house, it has to be the worst job I've ever seen. So consider this a lesson. Don't just trust any old amateur. Always go to a professional. So what complaints does your passenger have? Sleeping. Oh, of course. That bald head of hers is very sensitive to temperature changes. Imagine how cold she must be. Not to mention dry and scaly. No, she needs temperature and humidity control system. Luckily, that place was so shoddily designed, there's ample cracks for wiring and electronics. So there you go, some plans and schematics for an HVAC. Call it a courtesy. After all, how can you repay your debt if your boat falls to pieces? We can now make an HVAC. By Evo. Oh, I am piss broke. I wonder if I can fix that right now. That's okay. Silly idea just donated, so I should be good. Glass. I need glass. And iron. I don't like either of those things. Oh, thank you, silly idea. Let me get this up to heat. I can bow properly. Still waiting for this damn hydrocarbon to kick in so I can do my damn job. Ah, thank you very, very much. I do always appreciate you, silly idea. Thank you. Thank you. I need glass. Where the hell do I get glass at? Gotta be up here. Gotta be in one of the new areas. I could buy it if I had any money. It feels exactly the same as always, Cordoon, because I live in the United States. If there's one thing you learn about living in the United States is that sick days are not something you get. You get in there, you work, unless you're dying or have a note from the doctor. That's going to go towards the Kingdom Hearts block, prototype, and off Mortis Ghost. Thank you. Again, silly idea. Very much. What's the barrier to getting a note from a doctor? Time and money. Yeah, you also have to go to the doctor. The doctor has to agree that you have a sickness sufficient to not go to work. Like, picture you have a cold, like where I'm at right now. And then you go to the doctor and say, hey, I've got a cold, which is such a low-tier thing. They might not even visit you. They might actually flat out say, no, I'm not seeing you. That's beneath my time. This is a real example, by the way. Also, apparently, I completely missed a donation from Valerian like 4 hours ago. So, thank you, Valerian, very, very much. Just shows how pathetic I am today that I completely skipped that. This is actually why I double-check donations, just in case. So, thank you, Valerian. I will jot that down for Dawn Trail, Tactics Ogre, whatever, and Final Fantasy Tactics. It's also a remaster. Alright. So here's my thinking, and I want people's opinions on this. I have already figured out a method to make money. Okay. Actually, let's double check that first, shall we? Let's do that. So, let's check viability. Let's do this. No, you give it to your boss, Ross. And yes, if you're paying attention, that means you have to physically go into the office to then give your boss the doctor's note. Which, by the way, they may or may not accept. And if they decide not to accept it, well, I mean, if they decide to accept it legally, but, you know, they can be like, well, you know, and there's lots of quiet ways to, you know, sabotage someone's job without actually doing anything illegal on the matter. It's an extraordinarily common thing. I was going to say, I've never worked a job that had PTO. Not once. So, who do I give the doctor's note to? Probably my sister. Yeah, you know what I got for my job, for my IT job? Time and a half for having to work on holidays. That was what I got. And I was grateful for it, because not every place would give you time and a half on holidays. Yeah, I get on stream like, listen. Here's my note. Alright, so let's get to streaming. And the notice just says, I'm sick, yo. Overtime gets paid. That's a federal law. You gotta pay for overtime. There's some asterisks there, but generally speaking, most places don't actually mess with overtime. But holidays, that's a little bit different. And of course, what holidays count varies a little bit too, because there's such a thing as federal holidays, and then there's state holidays, and then there's city holidays, and then there's specific company-recognized holidays, and yeah, overtime itself also varies from state to state. It's a whole thing. Okay, so we're going to sell some tea. Oh. Damn. It actually costs more to make tea than you get out of it, so you can only lose money that way. Damn, I thought I actually had a money farming method, but I do not. Well, shoot. I mean, the gaming industry from a management perspective and a workers' rights perspective is a dumpster fire. It's not the worst. It goes down from there, right? But it's still a dumpster fire. It's only started getting better within the last 3 years. Imagine getting a job where the moment that you have gotten to a point where you're like, okay, you're no longer required for the production of the game in question, you're immediately fired. And you have to have already been reaching out to try and find some other place to work, because you are not in high demand and therefore cannot demand anything. You have no sway, no worker power, whatever that's actually called. That's an interesting question. What sells for more? No, not unions. I mean, there's a term for it. It's how much when it comes to interviewing, right, to hire someone, the balance of power is always either towards the person hiring or the person being hired. Bargaining power, that's it. Thank you. So, game developers in general have very low bargaining power because there's always people trying to get into the gaming industry because it's a very popular industry to get into. And a lot of people just want to make games. And so there's always going to be some other punk who's going to do your job for cheaper. And so you don't really have much to bring to the table. Okay, so that's 40. That's 50. Jesus. Yeah, there's a lot of politics that go into that. What's funny is that's true for actors as well. In a different direction. If you're a big name actor, people will line up at your door. If you're not, good luck. You will take what you can get. There's a lot of actors out there. Yeah, especially in voice acting. Oh my god. I've been asked a few times in my life why I didn't go into voice acting professionally, and it's because I looked into it. Now, granted, this was back in the 90s, but still. It has gotten better since then. Annie, there you are. I was scared. I thought you'd left. I'm feeling tired. We're on our way home, aren't we? Tell me when we're there. Well, the funny thing is, if you want to make a game to make a game, it's actually one of the better times to do it. And I mean that with sincerity. It continues, the barrier to entry for making your own game continues to shrink. There are good free engines and there are good free tutorials out there. And making your own game, you're probably not going to be financially successful. You're probably not going to make a lot of money off of it. Or become a big name person like happened with Undertale or Stardew Valley or anything like that. But if you just want to make the game and get it out there, that's very doable. We don't talk about Unity. Exactly, Shaludo. And while there is a bit of a noise problem with the indie scene, I'm kind of in favor of it. I would rather we have a whole bunch of people making games, and a lot of them are bad, than, you know, some of the problems we had back in the day. Where good freaking luck getting into the industry at all. Hey, Ninja. I don't know. What's it worth to you, Ginger Ninja, to update the HUD? I'm joking. I'll update the HUD. I'll update the HUD. Hell, even a game like Head On, to use a direct example, is lucky to have sold as well as it did. And that it didn't exactly make a gigantic splash, but from my understanding, it was financially successful, right? Like he did make money off of that game. I mean, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. And yeah, even though it didn't make the kind of splash that the big names make, making it all like that, that's good. That's something you can take to the bank. Thank you, Ginger Ninja. I was joking. Am I looking forward to StarCraft? Actually, yes. Although I am very, very strongly considering redoing the upcoming queue and just getting God of War out of the way. Because I've been staring at the queue for a bit now. I've also been getting extraordinarily tempted to just pull the trigger on increasing the price per priority for streams. Every time I feel like I'm getting closer to actually getting caught back up, another giant bundle of games keeps getting funded. That's technically correct, but the problem is, I am streaming more than I should be. Like, the goal is to stream less than I currently am by 16 hours a week is what I'm going to be pulling back to. That's the wrong way to phrase it. I'm going to be streaming 16 hours less every week is the idea. And then, well, like I said, we're still not actually at the point where we need to be at. There's still just tons of games sitting on the list just staring at me. And that's ignoring the fact that even if you just look at the queue, there's tons of games right now that are at the list that are very, very close to funding. So the odds of me going ahead and increasing the price is actually really high at this point. I'm not sure what I'm going to increase it to yet. That's going to involve some math. I haven't decided yet. But either way, I think I'm going to commit to this. Let's get this out of the way. Let's just do this. Let's get Dragon's Dogma and God of War 5 out of the way. And then we'll work on the other stuff. I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Well, obviously I do want to play Mario, but like in addition to that, there's the other side of that, which is I want to be at the point where the list is where it should be, where games are being funded at the rate at which they're being played. I'm not constantly playing catch up, just trying to stay above the water. And yeah, you're right. We have a few games that are likely going to get funded like now, essentially. Pokemon Arceus and Breath of Fire, the two big ones, and Zelda block. But once those two are funded, the next few are a ways further down the list and shouldn't happen anytime soon. But yeah, like Baldur's Gate 3, Grand Theft Auto 5, 3 Dragon Ages in a row. Yeah, it's just been very, very, very long games that have stacked up right now, and it's just dragging on me a bit. I'm not 100% sure of this statement, but I'm pretty sure I would be fine if not for losing 2 months of my life. Or however long it actually was. I forget the number right now. So it's Untitled Goose Game, Vermintide 2, and Wildermyth. Thank you, Ginger Ninja. And I have updated the upcoming page, and so if you type exclamation mark next, that should be correct now. Why is the water red around the afterlife barrier? You know, that's a good question. I haven't fished out here. Let's do that really quick. Well, the idea, Yura, and I still like the concept of this. It's just we've been playing catch-up for literally 3 years at this point. The idea was that the games you guys pick take priority over games I pick, because I just have more voting power to vote, right? But the problem is what's been happening is the games I pick just keep getting pushed further and further and further and further back because, you know, games keep getting funded. Oh, we're there, aren't we? Can we go now? Yes. Come on. Let's go. Let's go, Alice. And yeah, you weren't exactly alone in that fight, Valerian, but yes, you are correct. Beautiful scenery. Did you find this place all by yourself, Annie? You'd gone exploring earlier, hadn't you? Always such an adventurer, you. I'm so proud of you. These trees are quite marvelous. Eugene will be so mad to have missed that. Perhaps we'll be able to take some time off next summer. Yeah, let's return here. I feel like I could stay here forever. You haven't told me about school recently. Is everything still going well? And your grades, are they... Oh, of course, you graduated a long time ago. Sorry, I don't know how I got this confused. You're not Annie, are you? Yes, of course. I guess I've been rather forgetful recently. Maybe Eugene will... When you see your father, tell him about the trees, won't you? I'm sure he'll be excited to come with us next year. Dementia sucks. She kept drifting in and out of lucidity. Did you catch that? But right at the end, she was not lucid. She was not herself. There's our That's a valid perspective, Blade Jamal. But to answer Magister's question, there's actually a lot of reasons why keeping the list, or rather the queue, up to date is a good thing. But the most important reason, the most easy to understand reason is, think of it this way. You just funded a run. Congratulations. It'll happen in a few months. You know, because the queue is so backed up. Dementia is terrifying. Because what really is our greatest strength, our crux, the thing that makes humans humans, is our brains, our minds, our ability to think above and beyond, to take 2 inputs and make 3 outputs. It is an extraordinarily powerful thing. To have that turned against us is just the worst. My mother did a lot of work in, yeah, I'm kidding, Lord Harrowell. Worked in, elder care, nursing homes. And let me tell you, I've never encountered something as horrifyingly depressing as that in my entire life. That's neither hyperbole nor a joke. It is unironically one of the reasons I champion the idea of elderly people getting interested in video games. Every time I say that, someone laughs at me, but the more the years go on, the more I am proven correct about that presumption. Because video games can help them stay the most important thing they need to be, which is mentally active. Unless you're playing this game. Sorry. I'm joking. I wish some of my majority shareholders were here. I'd love to ask the question, because it's a funny thing you asked there, Cordoon. This game feels kind of grindy. It really does feel like I need to run around and grind for a bit, because I'm kind of resource locked at the moment. Like, I've been trying to stay on top of things and get resources and crates and loot islands and all that fun stuff, and I am actually running dry. I agree with that, Geludo. Let's see, so I need 2 glass for that. The pacing is honestly pretty terrible on both axes. Some really good moments, as you just saw, but just terrible pacing. So I should mention I have an infinite resource cheat. Infinite resources, infinite money. Make the ship go faster, and everything crafts instantly. Those are the cheats I have access to. Now, I have not done what I would consider cheating yet. But we could pull that trigger and just kind of skip the grind. Oh, geez, now the pressure's on, Blade Jamal. You know what I find really funny? So, this is not bragging. I am extremely good at StarCraft. And you're probably thinking, oh, so you've got really high APM and all that fun stuff. No, 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 no. If you watch the actual pros play StarCraft, they would run circles around me, right? What I can do is play StarCraft while talking about it, while talking with you guys. And I can play StarCraft well while doing that. And that is a lot harder to do than it sounds, let me tell you what. Excuse me. Oh, goodness. But just 2 more hours. I can make it. I can make it. I can only do so many lanes at once when multitasking, but I can do a couple. Okay, glass was up here, I want to say? No. There it is. I mean, that's true, Kira White Noise. The top 0.0% really squeezes out that quality of gameplay. Like, I am a damned good Super Metroid player, but if you watched one of the masters of speedrunning that game, I would look like a complete amateur next to them. That's just how that works. That's how that works in everything. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma should be interesting. I have precious few memories of that game, so it'll be close to blind. Because even though I've played it before, to conclusion even, that was a rumination, so I don't remember any of that. I do have one extremely distinct memory of Dragon's Dogma. I had just finished the first town. I had headed north to the actual city, like the main city. And I was given a quest to go west into a forest. I was in the middle of traveling through the forest when night fell. For those of you who are familiar with Dragon's Dogma, you now understand why I'm bringing this up. Yeah, I died. No, it's true, Magister. You want to be good at something, you practice it. That's how that works. If you want to be in the top %, you got to push. If you want to get the top 0.1%, you really got to push. There's a reason most professionals, whether it's in sports, video games, or whatever, push, make it, and then walk away from it. Oh man, Stukov is so fun in StarCraft 2. I'm probably actually best at Tychus, but Stukov is just fun. Like if we're doing co-op brutal with mutators, yeah, I'll go play as Tychus, but if we're just having fun. Okay. Okay, we got a glass. Let's finally wake up Summer, shall we? There you go. Is that better? Oh, yes, I do. Here, have... She likes natural stuff. Have some grilled vegetables. Hey, she liked it. Yay! Okay. I guess I'm just resource hunting at the moment. I have a billion things to build. So yeah, let's find some resource nodes. Let's head over here. Oh, still, I think I might have overslept a bit. How long have I been sleeping? What? That much? Hibernating, you say? Ugh. Well, I guess it was bound to happen. I might have been ignoring what my body was trying to tell me. A bad habit of mine. Thank you for taking such good care of me. You're welcome. I haven't watched a TV show in, since I finished Justified Magister. I know that spoiler, and spoiler, but I'm not sure why they spoilered the spoiler, and I really have no idea what they're doing with spoiler. I mean, apparently, Sean. Okay. What else can I make right now? Well, I could improve Alice's college, but there's really no reason to now. I need aluminum for him, which I don't think I even have any yet. And ash and I need all kinds of stuff for him that I can't do. So that's just whatever. I need bright jelly for that. Ugh. will say, I have actually seen a bit of what they've changed for spoiler, and how that individual was during the Clone Wars. Not sure I agree, but it's definitely the direction they're taking. It's just not the direction I would have taken as a writer. That's all. Where we take Rewrite Anakin is going to be an entire discussion by itself, because there's a lot of interpretations of him. And what's funny is the AU keeps changing its mind on exactly what they're doing with him, so that's its own thing. I'm looking forward to it, Magister. My art director and I have been having some extensive chats about how to present the actual videos themselves. And of course, I do plan to take a short dark once I'm caught up on the queue. Stella, I wanted the dreams, they're back. They're much stronger than I ever thought they could be. These visions, I see them now as I'm awake. The reefs have turned into wafts of ethyl-scented smoke. The rotten fruit formed into the eye of the dragon. Vitreous, sickly, and a coil of arduous rust. When the dragon is awoken, he scares me, but suffering cannot be allowed. You'd agree, I'm certain. Let's go help it, shall we? I mean, ironically, that is probably what's going to happen. And it's one of the biggest reasons why I'm sincerely debating. See, have fun, Valerian. Sincerely debating upping the price on runs. Because the final asterisk there, which I don't talk about a lot because I don't want to give people the wrong impression, is that the runs don't technically need to be fully funded to be run. Hypothetically, right? How much people have put interest towards a game and how much money has been put towards a game serves as kind of a poll, right? A very practical poll of what the general interest is of you guys, my viewers. And so, with that done, with that information there, I don't need the run to technically be funded in order for that to be conclusory. I could just look at that and say, well, here's the games that are clearly getting tons and tons of interest. So we'll do that one, even though it's not funded yet, right? Hey, aluminum. And that's completely ignoring the gargantuan piles of games I want to play. You think that list on the website is all the games I want to stream? That's one of 3 games on the list I want to stream. Or that's one of 3 lists of games I want to stream. That's 3 separate lists of games I want to go through. So it's not like I'm worried about running out of content. That's true, Lord Harriman. Smells different, don't you think? As I thought. Just help it, Stella. So I had a thought earlier, actually. We're trying to cleanse this giant dragon, but when it says dragon, what it means is snake. And Summer's appearance is that of a snake. I'm I'm sure most of you picked up on that earlier, but in my defense, I'm kind of sick right now. Given that so much of this stuff has so far been an allegory for real-life problems, this feels like cancer to me. Or to be slightly more accurate, the trauma left over of someone who probably died from cancer. Because remember, she's already dead. We're already in the land of the dead here. I was thinking that too, Ginger Ninja. She keeps talking about going with natural remedies and using crystals and gems and all that. So yeah, she probably didn't get chemo or anything similar. She probably just went fully holistic. And I'm sorry, that's not going to do anything to cancer. I like how the boss music retains the higher pace of what a fight song should have, and yet doesn't really lose the tone of more uplifting, hopeful kind of a thing that the whole game has had. Yeah, cancer can suck a lemon. Looks relieved, doesn't it? I wonder what it means. If we're ever to cross this dragon's path again, I think we should help it. However I might feel about it. For now, though, I need some time to collect my thoughts. Thank you for everything. You're welcome, Summer. Yes, Bamber. Let's start smelting some of this aluminum now that we have it. I'm not sure, Ross. Unlike Tor and STO, which I've kind of mentally walked away from, WoW is probably going to be an ongoing, just like FF14. Cabbages, barely even human. Yeah, we've taken over for Charon's job, Triaxia. So we're trying to help people cross over. Still haven't figured out how to make fried chicken. Can't reach them until we've upgraded the ship. We could go to Furugawa. And get that person. Okay, so hang on. Yeah, no, Tor's... We'll see. Tor has been dying. Yeah, I've heard about that, Kira White Noise. I was also told by someone to, under no circumstances, look up or read the art book. I'm not sure what to make of that. Furugawa, which is somewhere around here. There it is. You know, that's a good question, Drax. I think about a lot of people die on a regular basis, so it makes sense. Oh, that makes sense, Ginger Ninja. You don't want to hug me right now. You'll get infected with the sick. Actually, last I checked, this is a French game. Although I guess the French qualify as Western. I guess. Nothing that I have seen so far has indicated how we died. I actually do have a theory about that. I would say that we actually... So, this is a weird way to phrase this, but I would say we are not dead, we're actually dying. Unlike all these people who have died, become a spirit person, lived in the spirit realm for a while, and now need help passing on, we are dying. We have not actually reached that point yet. Hence why we don't really manifest as a spirit, but as a poison. Now, why were we selected to pick Charon's replacement? Questionable meal. That's interesting. I mean, it could be just we're the PC. A lot of games just hand wave that as we're the PC. But yeah, it could be that the previous Farer finally died. Yeah, that's true. There could also be several people wandering around doing this right now. It's also possible that Hades had an interest in us personally, for whatever reason. I don't know, maybe we reminded him of Persephone? Yeah, Charon mentions he's retiring. And it looked like he went through the door, so you could be right. It could be that Charon was just done. you know, alright, I'm done. Did my job. Moving on. Logically, that would then inform how this game is going to end, consequently. Yes, I have seen Hades, Ginger Ninja. Back again, are you? And would you look at that? You got the piece. Oh, this is very good. You managed to wrestle the woodprint from the cold hands of the hag. What ingenuity, what spunk. You'll be an immense asset to all my endeavors. Or should I say our endeavors? Yes, I will now join you on your ship. Yay. Okay. No, I agree, Lord Harriman. Well, putting a few pieces together, Kira White Noise, considering how many quests apparently keep going after you finish the MSQ, yeah, it's entirely possible that, you know, there's like, we did it, and then keep playing forever. Is your Charon now?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Alright, who are you? Ha! I did it, and I didn't even faint. Actually feels alright. Who knew? Well then, let's get started. Oh, but of course, pardon my enthusiasm. I like the feather wing, feather fingers. I forgot to introduce myself. How forgetful and impolite. I am Gustav. And I don't know why, but I can't exactly shake the feeling we've already met. Anyhow, I'm glad our paths have crossed. And I know that together we will accomplish great things. This world is part wonderful and part disgusting, and so is art. Truly, the gods have struck us with grand inspiration. It is our solemn duty to elevate souls with beauty and awe. My resolve is strong. I'll put the greatest exhibit of my life, and you will help me. It'll be grandiose. My first payment! An O-ball, which means I'm up to one of those. Damn it. Okay. The boat looks delightful, but this... Wow, what a waste of space. You should get a figurehead. Right. Stella the dragon. I thought it was getting tamer. It seemed like we finally learned to coexist. To manage, at least. But it's really getting stronger, isn't it? Yeah, it's cancer. Was cancer. Please, when you can, bring me to the... Oh. I mean, I can't blame her. I mean, I don't want to sound callous, but again, she's already dead. She died from cancer, and that sucks. I don't have anything quippy or weird or funny to add to that. That just sucks. I mean, Greek mythos be weird, yo, would be my answer to that, Tsar. Although, if I'm being honest, I haven't actually read a lot of actual mythos in quite a while. Guess we go here. Yeah, no, not exactly an insightful comment. I apologize, Tsar. What always pissed me off about that is the guy who was like, I will do this thing. And then Hades is like, don't turn around. The guy's like, okay. And then he turns around and, damnation. I just wanted to smack them for that. Before we start working on the exhibition, some preparations are required. We need a sawmill. Okay, a loom. A foundry. And a mailbox. Yeah, let's upgrade the damn ship's speed, shall we? I'll jot it down, Ginger Ninja. Yeah, I noticed that, Kira White Noise. It makes me wonder of more of the mundane, practical thoughts going on here. What if there are spirits dead who just kind of decide to stick around and help keep the realm of the purgatory, this lake, this ocean, functioning? Positive for symbolism. We do have a category for theme, which would probably be the closest equivalent. I once had a friend who cut his own toe. He had a new one made of rubber. He was called Roberto. We're not friends anymore. I just haven't seen Fireglow at all. You know, that's another thought. Maybe the animals who are just regulars here are people who died, moved on, and then actually came back. By choice, probably, considering so many of them seem to be happy with what they're doing. Oh, Jesus. Listen, nobody cares about Animal Dead, except for that cat right there. Who is Turbo Dead, by the way. go. Thank you. I really thought I could keep up with it this time. The dragon. I was certain it was calming down. I could feel it purring, the warmth of it in my chest. I guess I just did it all over again. Just like my father. The dragon is a beast. Indomitable, if I recall my own words correctly. Whether you choose to care for it or to be beaten down. Oh, what would Rose think of me? Would she be proud? Would she be ashamed? I can't help but wonder what she would have done in my stead. But I know what she would have told me. She would have looked me straight in the eye, her gaze pierced through the veil of my appearance. And she wouldn't have said a word. She knew from the beginning. She knew the dragon would take me away. She knew I would have tried to love it and not hate it. Would she have judged me for my failure? I couldn't love it, Stella. I just couldn't. As much as I hate it, it is a part of me now. It will be forever. I want to leave gracefully. I must accept it for what it is now. I was looking forward to so many more lessons with you. You've been such a gifted student, Stella. I am so proud of you. So proud of your heart. So proud of your blossoming soul. I'm sorry to leave you. You'll have to learn by yourself. I have no doubt you'll pull through. The only lesson I have left is to show you what you're made of ephemeral starlight. We are but a few particles of thought in the vast stream of consciousness. This is the last thing I can teach you. All things change and all things end. Except for Star Citizen, which is never coming out. I'm proud of you, Stella. And I know Rose would be too. Thank you for everything.
No.
It occurs to me, we have actually gotten a decent amount of exposition about how this ocean works, this purgatory, right? Other than those constellations, we have no idea what's on the other side of that gate. Food for thought. See ya, Cordoon. Don't blame you. laboratory work is complete, let's start working on some proper infrastructure. We need dedicated space to protect it. And an office. And a front guest, and a... Okay. A multi-purpose area. The gallery is a paradoxical space for it houses both works of art and is one. Architecture is the first expression of humanity's mastery over nature. And that's one of the many reasons the Bauhaus School of Chicago integrated Etruscan architecture in his ideas. Alright, you got all that written down? I don't mind going over the finer points of the lecture again. Do you need me to repeat? No, I'm good. I'm good, thanks. That requires a lot of stuff I don't have. Oh. I did see that, Ginger Ninja. I think I'm gonna go and chop it here. My headache is slowly getting worse, and I'm slowly losing the ability to function. Hopefully, tomorrow I'll be feeling better and more capable of streaming properly. I'll see you guys.